Ever catch yourself mindlessly scrolling through an endless feed of bad news, cute cat videos, and memes at 2 a.m., promising yourself just 5 more minutes for the 15th time? Yeah, we've all been there. Let's not fool ourselves by thinking that one more of this video is going to make me feel better about stopping my bad habit instead of actually stopping it. But what if I told you that breaking free from this digital quicksand is not only possible, but actually easy? And the best part? You won't just be putting down your phone, you'll be picking up a whole new identity. One that's calmer, more focused, and way less likely to know the intimate details of every global crisis before breakfast. Imagine having the keys to unlock a whole new you, one who's mastered the art of digital zen and reclaimed those precious hours. Step 1. Identifying the real problem. First things first. Changing a bad habit is about something much deeper and, dare I say, more existential. The million-dollar question isn't, how can I stop doom scrolling? It's, who am I if I'm not a doom scroller? I know. It sounds like the kind of question you'd hear at a wellness retreat run by tech billionaires trying to atone for creating the very apps we're addicted to. But bear with me, because this identity shift is the sauce to making your doom scrolling detox not just easy, but permanent. Yup, you heard that right. If you see yourself as a doom scroller, any attempt to break free will only last as long as this video. See, the secret to ditching doom scrolling isn't about willpower or fancy apps that lock your phone, though those can help. It's about identity. Think about it. How many times have you sworn off social media only to find yourself back in the depths of your Twitter feed by lunchtime? That's because you're still seeing yourself as a doom scroller trying to quit rather than someone who simply doesn't doom scroll. It's like trying to quit smoking while still thinking of yourself as a smoker. You're fighting an uphill battle against your own identity. But what if, instead of being an ex-doom scroller, which still defines you by the habit, you forge a new identity and you become someone who's living life instead of wasting time on endless scrolling? Now, I can hear the skeptics out there, but I need to stay informed. How else will I know about the latest global catastrophe or celebrity meltdown? And to that I say, fair point. But let's be honest, how much of that endless scrolling is actually making you informed, and how much is just feeding your anxiety? Ask yourself this, how is this information useful? Will it benefit me? Will my life be better consuming all these digital garbage? Imagine for a moment what your life could look like if you weren't constantly tethered to your phone. Maybe you'd finally have time to learn that language you've been putting off. Or perhaps you'd rediscover the lost art of actually finishing a book. Heck, you might even start having real conversations with people again, instead of just sending them memes about how awful everything is. But the truth is, this transformation is less about depriving yourself and more about replacing one habit with something infinitely more fulfilling. As your brain starts to build new neural networks, which really is just fancy science talk for rewiring your head, you'll find yourself naturally gravitating towards these new, more enriching activities. Step 2. Imagine the new self. Let's play a little game here. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your ideal self, the person you'd be if you weren't a doom scroller. What does this person do with their free time? How do they stay informed without getting sucked into the vortex of endless bad news? Maybe the new you is someone who reads a curated newsletter once a day instead of constantly refreshing their newsfeed. Or perhaps they've taken up meditation and can now sit still for more than 30 seconds without reaching for their phone. Can you hold that picture of the new you in your mind? The possibilities are endless, and that's the beauty of it. I know what you're probably thinking, but I don't have any hobbies or interests outside of scrolling. First of all, ouch. Second, that's simply not true. You're a complex, multifaceted human being with infinite potential. You just haven't had the time or mental space to explore it because you've been too busy burying your face in social media. And mindless scrolling is easier than facing the unknown of trying new things, which you might come to enjoy. Let's talk about finding a new purpose, because the stronger your sense of purpose is, the easier it is to embrace your new identity. Maybe your purpose is to become the kind of person who actually finishes the books on their nightstand instead of using them as a fancy coaster for your phone. Or perhaps you want to be a great conversationalist without spiraling into existential dread. Whatever it is, make it specific and make it meaningful to you. Want to learn to cook? Great. Your new identity could be aspiring chef, interested in fitness. Imagine yourself behaving like one. How would you spend your day? Meal prepping? Attending a CrossFit class, perhaps? The key is to choose something that excites you more than the temporary dopamine hit of seeing the latest outrageous headline. Because let's face it, no matter how juicy the gossip or how shocking the news, it's never as satisfying as actually accomplishing something. Now, if you're already protesting, but I don't have time for new hobbies, I'm too busy, staying informed, to which I say, hogwash. The average person spends about 2 hours and 24 minutes on social media every day. That's over 16 hours a week. Imagine what you could accomplish with even half of that time. You could learn the basics of a new language, start a workout routine, write the first chapter of your novel, or even just catch up on sleep, which, let's be honest, we could all use more of. The possibilities are endless, and far more fulfilling than knowing the intimate details of every Twitter feud. Step 3. Facing the unknown. Now, as we're reimagining our lives without constant scrolling, you might feel a little uneasy. There's this nagging sensation in the back of your mind, isn't there? A sort of restlessness, an itch you can't quite scratch. You might find yourself wondering, but what if I miss something? Or maybe you're thinking, how will I know what's going on in the world? These thoughts start to swirl in your mind, gaining momentum like a snowball rolling downhill. And then it hits you, that feeling you're experiencing. It's not just unease or curiosity, it's something deeper, more primal, something that's been driving your scrolling habit all along, lurking beneath the surface. What we're really dealing with here is fear. Yes, fear. Because let's be honest, part of the reason we doom scroll is fear of missing out. What if our friends are having fun without us? What if the world ends and we're the last to know? This fear of missing out, or FOMO as the cool kids call it, is a powerful force. It's what keeps us glued to our devices, constantly refreshing, always on the lookout for the next big thing or the latest crisis. But here's a little secret. The world will keep spinning whether you're scrolling or not, and more often than not, you're not missing out on anything except more anxiety and wasted time. So how do you deal with FOMO when it crops up? Here's a little trick. Practice JOMO instead. That's joy of missing out. Next time you feel the urge to check your phone, take a moment to appreciate what you're doing instead, whether it's enjoying a meal, having a conversation, or just sitting in peaceful silence. Find joy in being present in that moment. Can we make this process a little enjoyable? Well, for starters, we could gamify it. Set small, achievable goals for yourself and celebrate when you reach them. Maybe start with just 30 minutes of phone-free time a day. When you achieve that, treat yourself to something nice, preferably something that doesn't involve scrolling. And remember, it's okay to laugh at yourself through this process. Did you catch yourself reaching for your phone during dinner? Or perhaps while you're sitting on the loo? Don't beat yourself up about it. Be easy about it. The best part is, this transformation doesn't have to be a grueling, miserable process. In fact, it should be fun. Remember, you're not punishing yourself here. You're liberating yourself from a habit that's been holding you back. Remember the 3-step plan. Step 1, forge yourself a new identity. In other words, who am I? Step 2, discover a passion. What would I be interested in? Step 3, practice the art of JOMO, the joy of missing out. Here's your challenge. Start small. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, don't reach for your phone. Instead, take a deep breath, stretch, and say to yourself, I am someone who starts their day with intention, not information overload. It might feel a little silly at first, but stick with it. You're planting the seeds of your new identity. If you're ready to take the next step in your transformation, check out the next video on boosting your productivity. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's packed with tips that will make your new identity even more powerful and fulfilling.